Welcome to the Monday Monologue. Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty controversial subject, and it's something I've got pretty strong opinions on, so I'm going to voice them here for you guys. And it's about AI, especially in relation to audio. And the first kind of sour taste I got for people using AI was I had a viewer that asked me, how much do the parts cost to build this 2A3 amp? And so I went to Mouser, which is where I buy most of my parts, and I spent probably about 45 minutes to an hour going through the BOM and looking up the parts one at a time, and then looking at the prices that you would pay for like the resistors and everything, because you guys aren't buying 100 of them like I do and get the super discount. You're buying 2 or 4 of them, and so you're paying the full retail price. So I went through the BOM, put the price next to each one in the spreadsheet, added it all up, and I believe it came up to just right over $1,000 or real close to it, which is kind of what I expected. And that's without tubes. And, you know, finding the tube sockets, what I paid for them on eBay, and like, this is what you would pay if you went and bought this stuff. And some viewer responded in the comments, well, I took your BOM and uploaded it to ChatGTP, and you're way overestimating this. I think you're trying to rip us off. It only came up to like $780. And I'm like, I don't know where ChatGTP is looking up these prices, or whether they're looking at, like, if you're buying 1,000 of these resistors, you get this price, or 1,000 of these capacitors, you get this price, or, you know, they're probably sourcing it from 10 different vendors and looking at the cheapest price on each one, and not including the $100 that you're going to spend on shipping, buying it from 10 different vendors, or what was going on. I don't care. But it was like, I went to the trouble to sit down as a human being and figure out the real actual cost. And then somebody spends, 20 seconds uploading something to AI and wants to claim that the AI is the actual accurate voice and not me, the person that added this stuff up straight off of where I buy my parts. And that just really pissed me off. I actually blocked them. I just like, some jerk's gonna do that. I don't need to just even deal with them. And he's done stuff like this before too. He challenged what I was saying, go look at this guy's YouTube channel, and he's saying this other thing that's different. It's like, I don't care what somebody other YouTube channel's saying. I listen to this amp. I know it's garbage. I don't need to care what some shill who's getting paid or whatever's going on that are saying these amps are the amp of the year and all that kind of stuff. I don't care what they're saying. So since that happened, I saw where a couple of audio forums that I am a part of, DIY Audio especially, they've made a policy where no AI responses. And it was starting to get out of control. People were like uploading schematics to these AI things and then just regurgitating what the AI response was. And I'll give AI this. It knows how to sound authoritative. And it puts in enough language that it makes it sound like it knows what it's talking about. So I did a test on ChatGTP. No, actually it was Google AI, and said, how do you wire up a 5AR4 rectifier tube? And it came back with hooking up pins that aren't even connected to anything. None of the pins it got right. It made up a term saying that pin 7 was a common cathode anode. Well, cathode's on one side of the tube, anode's on the other. A common anode cathode is called a piece of wire. And yeah, if you went by that, it wouldn't work at all. And so that made me realize that AI is never going to just say, I don't know. It's going to spit out some sort of an answer. And at this point, at least, it hasn't done enough learning on tube circuits or tube design for people to be using as an authority on the subject. And people are quoting it like it is God and that it's been building amplifiers for 50 years. I saw some guy did something about, like, here's what all these different capacitors sound like according to AI. And I guess it just searched the forums until it found somebody saying something, and probably wasn't even the same person. So you got different people saying different things about different capacitors and what they're doing and what they sound like. And it's not even talking about like what circuit they're in or anything. And of course, this poster was posting this stuff like it was the absolute authority. And it was in relation to my EL34 amp. And I was saying, well, I've tried that capacitor and it just didn't really sound that great in this amp. And they're like, AI said it is. Like, has AI ever listened to an amp? Does AI actually listen to music? Does it have ears? What am I missing here? And I feel like people have gotten so sucked up into this AI hype that they believe that AI is always right. And guys, this is, of course, AI has been around for a while in different forms, but this newest hype where you can't even write an email without AI trying to help you craft it. It's like, I don't need your help. I know what I want to say. Can I turn this off? It's like, no, you can't turn it off because we're going to help you whether you like it or not. It's like, I don't want AI in everything in my life. I don't, soon they're going to have AI on the front of your refrigerator telling you what kind of sandwich to eat for lunch. It's getting out of control. And it's going to get worse. And you heard it here first. We're going to see an AI bubble just like we saw with the dot-com bubble. And these tech stocks are just going through the roof. And talking to my financial advisor, because I don't deal with investing stuff. I have somebody that's professional, does that for me. Anyway, he was saying that right now the market's like jamming along, even with the tariffs and stuff, because of all this investment AI and how hyped up AI is. And all these companies are, telling their shareholders that AI is like the next coming and it's going to save and solve all their previous problems. And people are believing it. And people are dumping just crazy amounts of money into this AI tech, and I'm sure there's something to it. And I'm sure for some uses it has a lot of value. But yeah, it's definitely knows how to hype itself, and it knows how to sound, like I said, it's got the authority and that it's all-knowing and all that stuff. And there's a lot of people that just believe everything it spits out. And so I was glad to see DIY audio, especially when we're talking about a hobby. Part of this is supposed to be fun. And we're supposed to enjoy experimenting around with this stuff. And I'm going to be doing a output transformer shootout. And I don't need AI to tell me which one of these transformers sounds best or performs best, because we're going to wire them into the circuit and see. And, if AI wanted to point out something that somebody has actually tested like this, that's one thing. But when it's just pulling stuff off a forum when you don't know whether the person that wrote it has any experience, that's just not real information. And I've learned over the years, when I see somebody on a forum, whether it's a car forum or a audio forum or whatever kind of forum, you can look up in their history and just kind of see what they've been saying. And it's kind of like when you're buying something off eBay, you look at their feedback record. You can look at the person's feedback, and if they're posting nonsense on some other subject, somebody's going to call them out. There's a check and a balance on forums, and that's why they have value. They're peer reviewed, and nobody's peer reviewing AI. And then somebody was talking about that they had sent some calculation about a heat sink for a transistor into AI, and they had given it a bunch of details, and it spit out something that they knew was crazy. It's like, I know that's wrong. And they were like, okay, AI, I know that, this was the quick answer, but I need you to dig in deeper. So then it came back with a different answer, which he still knew was wrong. And then he's like, look, I need you to actually calculate this up and not search on the web for something that you can give me quickly. And on the third try, it gave him the right answer. So if you already know the answer, why are you asking AI for the information? You're going to be asking AI for information that you don't know the answer to. And if you've got to ask something 3 different times to get 3 different answers, that's like, would you use a calculator that did that? That you put in this times this, and you hit enter, and it gave you the wrong number twice and then the right number the third time. Would you keep using that calculator? I know I wouldn't. And so, yeah. For now, if you put comments on my videos that were AI generated, I'm going to delete them. And like I said, I banned that one guy, or just blocked that one guy, because he's got a long history of being just argumentative in the comments with just nonsense. And at some point, I'm just tired of deleting his comments. It's like, you're bringing nothing of value to the channel, so bye. But anyway, so let me know in the comments what you think. I know this is a pretty hot topic, and there's some people that think AI is like the next greatest thing, and it's already the greatest thing, and use it at work and use it for everything. And then there's other people that are like me that I can see the value in it for some things, but I see more harm coming from it, especially with all these AI-generated pictures that people put on social media that are then used to influence people. Yeah, that's not a good thing either. That you can't see, or it's made it more difficult to see what's real and what's fake. And I've learned to look at, you look at how many fingers the people have, or, look at their teeth and that sort of thing. But it's not going to be long before AI figures that out too. And you're not going to be able to tell what's real and what's fake. And that's not going to be good, because news is already so clickbait, and we'll publish whatever crazy will get clicks and ad revenue. And that's part of why the world's like it is right now. So anyway, leave in the comments below what you think. Again, no politics. Hope I didn't sound political. I don't think I did, but yeah. Let's keep politics off the channel, and just let me know what you think of AI. And yeah, that's something I'm just really struggling with, and it's definitely very frustrating. So yeah, that was a long rant. Let me think about what else is going on. I am interested to try out all these output transformers, and I think we want to do more of that on the channel. Start comparing, A/B different products that can be used on the amps. I know, I've used these ISO transformers and said, hey, look how great, these sound great. But I've never sat down and I mean, I've done it myself and just to listen to them, but I've never like done the audio analyzer suite like I did with those 300B tubes. And I think we'll probably see more difference in these output transformers than we saw in the tubes. And so I think that's going to be a fun thing. If you didn't see the video about my chassis, we're going to have those up for sale. I still got to like completely figure all that out, but I think that that's going to be something good for the DIY community. For folks that want to build a nice looking amp but they can't do the fab work, it gives you a starting point that's got at least the hard part done. And I'm probably going to provide a service where if you send me the dimensions where all the holes need to be, that I'll drill those for you before I send you the chassis too. But obviously that's an extra cost option. So still struggling on the idea of kits. I think the after sale support is really what scares me off from it. I think there's a lot of people that want to buy a kit just to save the money that don't have any experience, and I'm going to end up basically building the amp over email and spend hours back and forth, or reverse charges and send me back something they've hacked up, or just there's so many ways that could go wrong. I know there's companies that do fine with these DIY kits. I'm not sure that's what I want to do. I do have some new products on the way over. I've got some new tubes from PS Vane that they're sending me. They're working on a 5AR4, or I've been working with them on that. Hopefully we've got the bugs ironed out with that. And again, they've been really great to work with, and I appreciate them listening to me and making changes to their product line based on the testing that I've done on some of their products. And so the stuff that I'm saying, hey guys, this stuff's pretty good, it's because I've tested it. And some of the stuff they made that didn't really work out, or I didn't think was up to snuff, they pulled them off the shelves. And so I think we got a pretty good relationship with them. Ayima's sending me their newest little chip amp and some kind of tube preamp that looks kind of cool. So that should be coming up soon. And I bought the last quad speakers that MoFi had in the US. And I'm not sure what the deal is with quad. They discontinued the S2 and the S1. They've kind of gone way more upscale. The new ones are like twice what these retailed for. And so, yeah, they're kind of exiting the affordable market, which is a shame. But maybe it's like I was talking about in another video. They're realizing that this mid-tier stuff isn't selling, but the high-end stuff is. And they're pricing their stuff accordingly. But it's a shame to have lost that really good sounding speaker at that price point. And I guess that's kind of it for this week's Monday Monologue. I know I've missed a few weeks. I had some personal stuff at a business trip, and then I kind of remodeling my house. It had just gotten so cluttered bringing this amp business into the house with all my other junk from 40 years of living here. I had to do like a huge purge and clean up my house so I have room to keep my business going. So that's taken up some time, but now that that's done, we can get back to building cool tube amps. And thank all you guys for hanging in there, watching my videos. It's cool that we got past 20K subs. Thanks to all you folks that have subscribed, that support the channel in other ways, you guys that buy my products. Thanks for you folks that have ordered stuff, for being patient while I'm working through this. And I hope at the end you get the really cool amplifier that you've always dreamed of. And until next week, we'll see you for the next Monday Monologue.